Hello, so what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be using Python to go ahead and write data to a simple text file. And then we're going to be writing a second program that'll go ahead and read that data from a file and determine some information about that data. So we're going to write a program that iterates through a list of random integers and writes each integer to a separate line in the file. The file should be created in your home directory and named integers.txt. And what you want to do is you want to display a message to the user after the integers have been written to the file successfully, and you're going to use UTF character encoding. In part 2, we're going to write a program to read the file integers.txt created in part 1 that was saved to your home directory, and we're going to print the number of times an integer appears in the file based on the integer the user inputted. If the integer does not exist, we're going to display a message to the user. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, I've written both programs. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the write integers program first. So let me just go ahead and expand that. So what I have is I have a list of 50 random integers between 1 and 20. So these are the values that we're going to go ahead and print to our file. So the first thing I need to do on line 5 is I'm going to import my path from the pathlib module or library. And then what I'm going to do, the direction state that we want to go ahead and write the information to a file in our home folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Python's path detect my home directory. So that'll specify my home directory, either if I'm writing this program on a Windows machine, Mac OS, or Linux. It'll go ahead and determine where the correct home folder is based on the operating system. And then we're going to go ahead and name the file integers.txt. So after we've created that file path, the next thing we need to do is we need to open the file. So we're going to call the open method or function on our file path that we've created variable up above. The mode, it's going to be opened in write mode, and the encoding will be UTF-8, and it's going to be as a file. So that will actually be the text file that will get created. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through the list, our integer list up above. We're going to read in each one of those integers, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write the integer to the file. So we're going to call the write function on our file class, and what we're going to do is we need to go ahead and convert that integer to a string so we can write it out as a string, and then we're going to go ahead and concatenate a new line a character, so each integer is printed on a separate line. And then what we're going to do after our for loop is we'll go ahead and print out the following message: the integers list has been written to the file, and we'll specify the file path. So let's go ahead and run the program. So we will go ahead, run our module. The integers list has been written to file users Mike B integers.txt. So let's go out onto my system and go into Mike B under users, and there's my integers file. If I go ahead and open it up, we can see that the integers have been, each one has been added to a new line within that file. So we've successfully written the integers to the file. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and read those integers from the file and calculate how many times an integer appears in the file, or count how many times it appears in the file. So we'll go to our read integers Python program. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and import path again. The next thing we're going to establish our file path. Again, it's found in my home folder. The name of the file is integers.txt. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to prompt the user for an integer to search for. So we'll prompt the user with some text. And what we need to do is that value entered by the user, we're going to go ahead and convert that to an int value. And then we're going to go ahead and set up a counter. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep track of the number of times the integer is in the file. And we'll go ahead and initialize it to a value of 0. So on line 11, we need to open the file. So it's very similar to how you write the file. The only change we've made is the mode that we're using, the file mode. So instead of writing, we're actually reading the file using an encoding of UTF-8. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to iterate through each line in the file. So we're going to iterate through each one of the integers in our file, and what we're going to do is we're going to call the readLine function to go ahead and read those lines. And then what we're going to do next on line 14 is we're going to check to see if the integer that we've read in from the file, and what we need to do is we need to convert it to an int value, is equal to our search integer that the user inputted up above. If it is, then what we're going to do is we're just going to add 1 to our counter variable. So after we've looped through the for loop and we've iterated through all the integers in the file and we've closed the file, then what we're going to do is we're going to display the appropriate message based on the count. So if our count is equal to 0, we're just going to specify that that integer that the user inputted is not in the file. If the count is equal to 1, then we're going to specify there is one count occurrence, which will be 1 of search integer in the file. And then if anything else, if there are multiple occurrences, then what we've done here is we've just changed the grammar. So we're specifying that there are multiple occurrences of that value in the file. So there are so many occurrences of that search engine in the file. So again, what we're doing is we're just based on our count value that we've gone ahead and determined when we've iterated through the file, we will display the appropriate message. So again, if we go into, we have our integers.txt file. It's in my home. So let me just go ahead and run this. I'll run this a few times. So the first time through, we're going to enter 13. There should be 4 occurrences of 13 in the file, and that's what it specifies. There are 4 occurrences of 13 in the file. We're going to go ahead and run it again. We're going to enter 6, and there should only be 1 occurrence. So there is 1 occurrence of 6 in the file. And then we're going to go ahead and specify 17, and 17 does not appear in the file, so we should see a different message. So, and basically it displays the message. So what we did in this video is we walked through how you could go ahead and write information to a file using Python, and then how you could go ahead and read that information from the file, do some processing on that information that you read from the file, and output some information about the data that was in the file. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. So we will go ahead and talk to you later.